Yeah, sure. No worries. All set. Yep. Well, thank you for coming. Today we've had to deal with a tragic set of circumstances resulting from a police inquiry in Crystal Brook this morning. And it stems from an incident which occurred yesterday at the local supermarket. What would be described as a minor disturbance was being followed up by two police officers who attended at an address in Symonds Street, Crystal Brook. On their arrival, they were confronted by an occupant of the house they were attending, and as a result of that confrontation, both police officers have been stabbed, and the male occupant of the house has been shot by police. The responding police officers who were attending as a result of a call for assistance by the officers who were injured have located that male occupant deceased as a result of the incident. I can say that the two officers concerned are Brevet Sergeant Ian Todd, the officer in charge of Port Germain. He has sustained life-threatening critical injuries and has been conveyed to the RAH by MedStar helicopter. And Brevet Sergeant Jordan Alley, of the officer in charge of Crystal Brook, has also sustained stab wounds and is considered to be serious but stable. And his stab wounds are to the right leg and arm. Ian's stab wounds are to the neck, arm and hands. I can also say, as an indication of the impact of this incident on the police family is more wide-reaching than just those officers who attended the scene today. Ian has a son-in-law who is the officer in charge of Kadina Police Station, and Jordan's partner is a constable, and his father is also a police officer and the officer in charge of Hallett Police. So as you can appreciate, there are family members who are directly involved in terms of the impact of this particular incident, both as family members and also as police officers. I'd also like to acknowledge that a local resident within Symonds Street was first on the scene and provided assistance to one of the injured police officers, and we're very grateful for that person stepping forward and providing that critical support. I'd also acknowledge the attending police officers who first responded. As I'm sure you can imagine, this is a very traumatic incident for police officers to be involved in firsthand, but it also has a significant impact on those officers who attend to support their colleagues and maintain the situation until a further assistance can arrive. And also those ambulance officers who attended, we're very grateful for their support, and in all likelihood their swift actions have saved the life of at least one police officer. This incident is now being investigated as a coronial inquiry, and a commissioner's inquiry is also underway. That is being headed up by Major Crime, who are currently at the scene, along with our forensics officers, and they will be there for some time processing the scene. I'm happy to take questions at this time. Commissioner, how are your police officers doing despite these circumstances? I've just been at the scene speaking to the officers who were first on scene. Look, they're doing an excellent job. They're maintaining perspective. We're doing as much as we can to support them. The family members of the injured officers are being conveyed to Adelaide so they can be with Ian and Jordan, and we'll be supporting them as much as possible going forward. Other officers in the area are obviously affected by this. This is something that we accept as a possibility of the nature of the work we do. There are inherent dangers in policing, but our officers are trained to conduct their duties as safely as possible. We equip them as best as we can to minimise the risk of harm, but notwithstanding those measures, the sad reality is that police officers are injured quite frequently on duty, and we're very hopeful that both of these police officers, Ian and Jordan, come through the injuries they've currently received. Would you be able to let me know what happened yesterday leading up to the officers knocking on this man's door? Look, I won't elaborate on the specifics. I don't want to interfere with the coronial investigation or the Commissioner's inquiry, but I will say there was a minor disturbance at the local supermarket in Crystal Brook. The police officers were following up as a result of that incident, and obviously the investigation will provide the further detail as to exactly what transpired yesterday and also today.
How crucial was the first aid from the local resident across the road in that time, those precious minutes?
Look, I can't specify just how critical it is that that person came forward and provided urgent assistance to the police officers. I don't have the specifics of exactly what that individual did, but they took it upon themselves to step into a situation they wouldn't have a full appreciation of, potentially having heard gunshots, and supported their local police officers. And I can't convey just how grateful we are for that person's intervention.
This was a very serious attack, Commissioner. Can you tell me, can you take us through that no officer should have to go out on the job and have to deal with something like this?
Well, our position is that police officers who attend work have every right to expect to go home safely at the end of their shift. But we can't get away from the fact that policing does carry with it inherent dangers, the types of dangers that no other occupation really faces. There are dangers in other organisations and other occupations, but being injured or losing your life as a result of an act of violence is quite unique to policing. As I said, we train